online capability, so they printed up a bunch of packets and worked with Farmers Market to get them available at the grocery store, because they figure if folks have to go out, the only place they need to really go is a grocery store.
That's right.
They can pick up those learning packets at the grocery store for their students and not have to worry about being online. So I thought that was really smart.
Yeah, that is very smart.
And so that's online on our website as well. And then, of course, the interview from yesterday when we had the CEO from the hospital on talking about the decision to furlough some, not all, some of their folks at the hospital because of the lack of elective surgeries and some of these other procedures that just folks aren't doing.
And just the census is down in general.
Right. Because we're staying home.
That's right.
Like we're supposed to.
That's the hunch.
Megan.
I know. Yeah, most of us are staying out of the hospital because we're staying home.
Yes.
Megan.
Yeah,
right. It's like the face toucher, the curfew breaker.
Wow, you check all the boxes, don't you?
Check all the boxes, yeah. What we have here is an example in Scott and a non-example in Megan.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good cop, bad cop. Okay.
That's right.
And Jamie's just, why am I still here? Why am I still here?
Yeah.
There must be an email I need to respond to.
Sure.
I'm sorry,
Surely
Jamie.
there's something I need to do today.
There's something I need to do.
Certainly.
I need to look at my Facebook page.
That's right. Exactly.
I'm listening.
But,
I'm learning.
Okay.
A lot.
I'm sure.
About the two of you.
I
Yes.
was going to say.
She'll never
Not
be
about
back.
COVID, but the
She'll
two
never
of you
be
and your
back.
odd personality.
Never be back. Exactly.
Oh, it's true.
So anyway, so there's the numbers.
Yeah.
So there we go, everybody. And yes.
Well, I was just going to say I've been keeping track of all this modeling going on, and not like me considering a new career.
Okay.
I got a great left thumb.
All right.
Though.
Audience,
But-
I'm going to have to ask. Go on.
Yeah. No, but the models that they're using to track
Yes.
the spread, right? And so I was looking at one from Washington State this morning. The University of Washington was one of those groups that was doing some type modeling, and they only had 26 new cases yesterday, so they seem to be, the peak has seemed to peaked and is now
On the downside, of the peak, right? And we await that happening here, which should be coming in the next couple of weeks, as everyone's telling us. We'll see. We'll hope. See. Fingers crossed. But again, we want to. But for all these places, and Jamie and I talked about this earlier. You don't want to have another surge or another breakout of cases. If the cases are going down, you don't want to suddenly stop doing what you're doing and then see them.
That would be a
pop
bad
back
idea.
up.
Well, and that's what was interesting about this graph in particular. I mean, if you're like a nerd when it comes to graphs and systems and stuff, there's a heyday out on the internet for you. But it has like when restaurants were closed, and then it has when the quarantine began. And when the quarantine began, what was important in that was that the numbers did spike at that moment. So it's just I feel like the whole thing is very counterintuitive, right? That is not when it ended.
Right.
It's when it ramped up. So.
Well, but there's a delay, right? There has to be a delay.
There's a total delay,
And so, you can stop everybody from doing everything, but if you're still infected, you may not get sick for a couple of weeks,
That's
perhaps.
right. And viruses by their nature are exponential, right? So.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how they work.
That's how they work.
That's why we're staying home.
Don't cough on me.
But there you go. I'm not the one with the glove problem.
That's
just saying.
That's so true.
It's been well documented.
It's been well documented. On the air,
Exactly.
it is saved. You can look back.
That is true.
And I'm too vain for a mask and all of that. So.
Right. So anyway, Jamie Church, I would like to ask you about the survey that you sent out to your members. We talked about this again in the 8 o'clock, but we didn't really get into the survey. And so Megan loves charts and graphs.
Well, well.
And I've saved all those for her.
Pull it up. Yes.
Okay. So let me.
You've asked a few questions of your members.
Let me qualify this. We did our first survey roughly mid-March, maybe around the 18th or so of March. And we actually had close to 168 respondents, which we really just sent it out to chamber members. And I think it got shared in some other spaces too, which is fine. We wanted to, I think in a normal time, if I had done a survey through the chamber, we probably would have had 20 people respond. So I actually thought 168 was pretty good.
I think it is very good.
And we're going to be doing it again. We are working on our second follow-up survey right now. So some of the questions were before the shelter-in-place order came out. And it was before a lot of the CARE Act wasn't finalized yet. A lot of the
no stimulus, none of those things, right?
It was out there, but the applications and stuff weren't ready. So you have to think about that with these numbers. So first of all, we kind of wanted to see what kind of businesses were responding, and so we asked a question: what kind of business are you? But then we asked, how is COVID-19 affecting your business? And 23 of the respondents said they have or they will be closing their doors, and we're getting ready to ask that question again, and I think that number will be significantly higher, that they've either had to close their doors or they're anticipating they will have to close their doors before the end of April.
That's
so
the
I think
largest
that
response
go up.
on that question, right? And then you asked about, is your business 70 to 90%, I guess, right? Or 50 to 70%, and the next one was maybe 30 to 50. So the second part, they thought business was down 30 to 50%.
Right. So, and that is even before some of the restrictions even got tighter after we did this survey.
Right.
Like, as far as who was considered essential, how businesses were able to continue to do business, and then the restrictions tightened even more. So some of our respondents that were actually, I'm going to just give an example, Distill.
Right.
So Distill at that
time,
they were
open.
If you don't know what Distill is, it's a packaged liquor store over on the east end of town. And so they, at this time, were still allowed to be open. They were operating under the rules. They were doing, everything they needed to do according to the state. So they were allowed at this point to operate. Even since this survey, I don't want to say the rules changed. The guidelines have changed.
Sure.
They've had to close.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying these.
So that question again could be answered very differently.
Yes,
is what you're saying.
Because
I get you.
The guidelines on how and who was able to operate changed.
Right.
So, and then we wanted to look at how many businesses had to lay off employees. Again, I think that number is going to be significantly different in this next. When we do our next survey, our follow-up survey here in a couple of days.
So 65% of your respondents said they have had to lay off employees.
And I think that's going to go even higher than that.
And I'm looking for the, right.
And I had some help in putting these, because graphs and stuff, not my thing, Megan. I got to tell you.
Okay, yeah.
No, I did not. I had help in creating these.
I beg your pardon. I think I'm interpreting that wrong as I look at the color scale now.
Yes.
65% says no. So far,
and colors are hard for me. It says 60. That color.
The biggest
blue,
chunk of your pie, I think, had not had to lay off employees just yet.
No, the
that's
darker
the no.
is no response.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's right. So this number, I think, we're going to see change.
Right.
Significantly.
Yes.
And again, the reason we're doing these surveys is so we have data to send back to our elected officials here, the state, all the state chambers. Well, probably most chambers in the nation are actually doing these because we have to have data. If there's going to be recovery or funding or something, we've got to have these kind of numbers. But I'm also wanting anecdotal. I need to hear, and I have been in some conversations recently with our members, I need to hear the story. And I think that's powerful as well. So I don't want it all to be number driven. I need to hear from our members, whether it's an email, a phone call, Facebook message, because I know there are businesses that are frustrated and they are having to close their doors. And we, as a chamber, we can advocate and we can do everything within our power, but there's only so much as chambers we can do. And right now, because we're limited on being able to do networking events or anything that we used to do, we can just try to provide information and advocate, but I need to hear those stories too, because I think compiling those as well and sharing them will be helpful. So that is another piece of that. So one of the questions we asked were comments, and we did get some interesting comments. Again, this was a few weeks ago. So the SBA funding, like what specific SBA questions do you have? Well, people have a lot of questions, and we were putting out a ton of information, and we've tried to be a little more directing people to one place now. So
the biggest response you got to that question was that they didn't need a loan at that point, but need grant money to pay employees and operating costs.
So in the comment section on that, where a lot of the businesses said, I don't need to take on debt right now. I need grant money, forgivable loans. I don't need to take out a loan that I'm going to have to pay back down the road because I don't want to go into debt.
Yeah.
So the emergency loan that came directly through SBA.gov is up to a $10,000 forgivable. It is to be used for trying to pay your employees to keep your employees going. And then the SBA loans, which you apply through your local lender. Again, as I mentioned on the first hour, make sure you check with your accountant. Make sure you know exactly what you are signing and what you are committing to. Is this a forgivable loan? Is this something that will have to be paid back over time? Maybe a better option for you is the payroll tax credit. So, we all pay payroll taxes, and there's a tax credit or there's a payroll tax deduction that, again, ask your accountant. So I think for the businesses that responded they didn't need a loan, it's more like, I don't want to take out a loan right now. I don't want to have to owe money down the road when I open my doors again. So find out which loans are forgivable and what.
Right.
I see that question. That's another. Yeah, I know that the state unemployment office has been completely inundated with phone calls. Sorry,
Right.
I'm seeing the comment up on the.
Yeah, there's a Facebook comment,
right.
and we thank you for that, about needing a phone
Yes.
number to the unemployment office where you can talk to a person. And I don't
Yes.
know if we can even find you a number
so.
where you could talk to a person unless you want to be on hold for a long
Right.
time.
Because
And that's why a lot of
yeah.
this has gone online.
Right.
And I would encourage you to maybe go through the online option because you can get your information to someone faster.
Right.
But I get that you may need to talk to a person,
Right.
and that's frustrating.
And I understand that
Even in the best of
frustration,
times.
because I was trying to get information yesterday, and I was on the state of New Mexico website, and I'm looking through all the links, and finally I got in touch with a person, and she basically went through the same, and she was scrolling through going, yeah, there's a lot of information here. Yeah, let me see if I can help you find out what you need. And I'm a talk to a person. I don't like emailing. I want to talk to somebody. This is what's
Right.
going on. What's the answer? And I understand that frustration. But right now, most of the hotlines, information lines and stuff, they're just so overwhelmed. So I understand that frustration.
Sure, but
and that's why I don't always have the answers to give either, because I'm trying to go to the state websites, find the information, and help, which is why I think just giving the links and letting our businesses know this is where you need to go. And usually it is the state websites or the small bit SBDC or the SBA. And I know that's hard when you're trying to get the information right now. I know that's frustrating.
But we will look
It's
for
pretty
a number.
accessible. If I could just jump in here.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
You should jump in. Anytime you want to jump
Jumping in.
you are able to jump in.
On topic this time.
Good.
All right. It's noted.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me,
No,
919.
because I want to hear the accessible.
Yes.
Because if you've got a direct line.
Well, I don't have a direct line
Don't
to a
share
person.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but the SBA website, I would say, has like
Yes.
a
Yeah, they
good
do.
compiled 5-page document
Yes, they
that's
do.
like frequently asked questions. And so I do think actually it's pretty clear if you go to that website.
Okay.
And I know the loan is a 1% interest rate, which is low,
Right.
of course.
Well,
yeah.
Right, and for the folks who are commenting on Facebook, we will look for a number to post on this video on Facebook and let you try it. But
Right.
again, I don't know if we're going to have any better luck than you are with our resources. But for sure, we will certainly try and share some of that after the program goes off the air. So.
And I agree with Megan. On our chamber website, and I know also on the City of Farmington's website, we have a link to the SBA.gov, and they do have a great, very laid out. Also, SBDC, they
Right.
also have very good information laid out. And
that I have ready to go. We can
NMA
show you.
Yeah, NMACI has good links. So they are there. But when you have the question that's a special circumstance, sometimes that can be a little tricky. And
Right.
we know.
And more frustrating, and we
Yes.
get that. We certainly understand. But the Small Business Development Center, again, if you're a business owner
Yes.
and needing to know kind of what's available, that's another great resource we have here. We talked
Right.
about that earlier. 566-3528 for our radio audience, 566-3528, or the website, sanjuancollege.edu/SBDC. And of course, we talked to Carmen Martinez just last week on this program, was talking a little bit about how she is working from home, but still able to connect with these calls that are coming in and provide assistance. So that's one more free resource that folks have for who are business owners. So with your survey, Jamie Church,
Yes.
again, you were finding out a lot of the stuff maybe wasn't too surprising
Right.
at the
And
time you
at
were
the
asking these
time-
questions.
At the time, there were the question that came up so often was timeline, and nobody can answer that question. The timeline has changed since even we did the survey, because now everything's been extended to the end of April, and the businesses that have had to close has been different. What's deemed essential and how they're able to operate has changed. Timeline. When am I going to be able to open my doors again? When am I going to be able? And that right now, I think, is what the state the New Mexico State Chambers are all trying to work on is, so what are the milestones we need to get to? Do the numbers for new COVID cases have to go down by a certain percentage before we can start letting businesses open their doors? What are the milestones? So that we can start to create some of those timelines, so that we can let our business owners know, if you can just hang on until, but again, those are kind of unknowns right now. And so,
right.
So kind of what I'd like to see is just maybe creating some things like, if we can keep the virus at this level, or the curve, or the numbers, or whatever the
metric is of measuring, right.
That
modeling.
We keep the modeling.
Right.
If the modeling, and we can agree on a consistent model, because there's all these different models out there. So if we can say that if the virus looks like this by this point, then we'll let businesses with precautions, masks, limiting the number of customers in your store, but then yes, businesses can reopen. So that, I think, would be helpful, because it just helps them plan. When do I need to get inventory in? When do I need to maybe try to get my employees ramped up again? And for a business owner, it's just got to be very, frustrating to be trying to do any kind of future projection when the timeline is unknown. So
I hear you.
That question came up, or that comment came up.
Sure. And I think it was probably I think Dr. Fauci at the federal level who said really the virus determines the timeline.
Yep. Yes.
And it really is hard to maybe figure that out.
Yes. And at the time we did the survey, it was before the shelter in place. And so some of our respondents said they thought it would be helpful if people would just shelter in place so we could get this over and done with. So we're in that now. Also, information. Where do I go information? A central place to go for information. And that's why we've been really trying to drive people that ask us to the city, or if it's specific to SBA, maybe to the SBDC, because there are, like, if everybody's putting out all their information, these business owners, they just don't have time to be spending hours going through all this. So if they can go to one central place and see the link for a loan, or see the link for what's an essential business. That was another thing, another comment. And I got to agree with this one. When they put down these essential business, could they please be more specific? Give more of a guideline than what they give, because they say these are essential, this is who gets to be open. But these, just a little more detail on that. Or if you have a question, am I essential? Where do you call to find out then if you are essential or you're not? Or so, those kind of things, because it is hard, I think, when you look at the whole websites, all the list of essential, but maybe not as much detail as people are needing, or as much explanation. So,
sure.
Yeah.
I think that's
comment
well taken
from our members.
Yeah.
So
that's important. And so you are getting ready now to issue a new survey, right?
Yes.
Which maybe this was about 5 questions. I think this one will be a little bit longer, perhaps?
A little bit longer. I'm curious to know, have some of our members applied for SBA funding, and how did they, were they able to get the funding that they needed? Where are they going for their information? Because I think this will be helpful down the road when, if in the future we ever have to share this amount of information, where are they going? Is it to the radio? Is it social media? Is it the city? Is it the chamber website? Is it the college? Just where are people going and finding the most helpful information, so that we know in the future where to put our resources as far as sharing that information. Again, asking that question of, do you anticipate you'll be able to rehire your employees, or what percentage of your employees do you think you'll be reemploying? And we wanted to use these same questions so we could compare, but then add a few more in that are maybe things now that we're seeing we need to ask our members.
Right.
So,
Makes sense. Another comment about more information online, because nobody's answering the hotlines or calling back, which we get, right? That's why we're saying, I think phone numbers are hard to find someone to answer those phone calls when you make them. So I get that.
Right.
True. So. Very good.
And so I think they're,
And that will be going out next week or so, you think?
Yes. So one of the challenges from working from home is that I'm not right there with my staff. So I can't just go over to the office and say, hey, let's change this question. I have to, email, wait for the response back, read it, respond back. So everything just takes a little bit longer. However, I'm happy to be working from home. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad we can. But sometimes with things like this, it just takes a little bit longer. I'd like it to go out by the end of the week. And then I'll be pushing it on our Facebook page, our chamber page. I'll probably need to do another video. And we want as many business owners to respond to this. So it doesn't matter to me if you're a chamber member or not. Mm-hmm. So I hope that SBDC might share it. You will. But we need to hear from all of our business owners, that even if they're not chamber members. Mm-hmm. And that, maybe has your business increased? There probably are some businesses that maybe have seen an increase in business. And then unfortunately, there's members that have had, they've had to close their business doors. Mm-hmm. And
some say temporarily, and
yes.
we're hopeful for that.
Yes.
Some may be more permanent and don't know. Some have packed up and moved out of town.
Yes, exactly.
Which was sad to see.
Yes, exactly.
But we know it's all different things. And then earlier you were mentioning, too, that there is a state website that businesses can register on to be part of a buy local
gift cards
idea about buying gift cards, buying them now to give some cash to these businesses, and then you can use them later once things reopen and get somewhat back to normal, which I think is another great idea.
And if you like a local business on Facebook, message them and say, do you do online gift cards right now? Could I buy a gift card from you online now? And then when you reopen, come in and reach out to them, because even this, the Buy for Tomorrow Today is a wonderful program that state's doing, but these businesses need to hear from our local people. Send them a message, say, we miss you, and when you open your doors again, we are going to be there. And in the first hour, I cannot push that enough. When these businesses reopen, or if they're able to do any kind of business now, you've got to support them. Even if you don't need what it is you're buying, just get it and save it.
I don't need a double cheeseburger, but I definitely going to support those local businesses.
I have to jump in here.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
I need cheeseburgers.
We need.
Okay.
I need that.
Alrighty. Or tacos or whatever we need.
I need all of that.
I understand.
We have to, and we've got to message them, share on Facebook. Let them know we miss them and we appreciate them, because I know right now, personally, this isolation is really hard for me personally. Some people love isolation, and I'm really struggling with it. So, and imagine these businesses. This is how they support their family. They were following all the rules. They have to shut down. They now have to lay off employees. They don't know how they're going to support their family. They're trying to get the funding. It's a lot of information out there. And then they can't even be together with their friends, their family, their support system. There's an emotional component here, too, I think we hopefully need to address.
Sure.
It's not all financial, and it's not all physical. There's an emotional feeling like all of a sudden you're just completely, you've had to close. And
morale is super important.
It is.
It's super important to all the other systems.
Them.
Yeah, exactly.
So Distill's doing kind of a fun thing. I don't want to keep bringing up Distill, but they did a fun thing. They actually, when they closed, they actually did put some plywood boards up just to, prevent any perhaps
safety.
Exactly. And they're asking people to write a message on those boards about how, when you guys reopen, we're going to be there. We miss you. And I think that's great. And we can't go, I'm not suggesting everybody go right on all these businesses, but reach out to them through Facebook if they have a Facebook page, or if you know them, call them and just let them know, because that helps a lot, just to say, okay, if we can just get through this, the community's going to be behind us. So, but I want to say that for all of my members that have had to shut their doors. It's so hard for the chambers right now. I'm on a chamber group, and we're all just heartbroken. Every time a business closes or reaches out to me and I can't answer their questions, it's just heartbreaking. And we want to be promoting our businesses as much as possible, but right now, we're still trying to figure out what that is. And so for us, for chamber executives, it's mostly advocacy and combining with other chambers and just trying to make sure that we're doing right by our business members and advocating for them. So
very true. Well, and there's a lot of, again, uncharted territory. We talked about that this morning too, that this is new for everybody,
right?
And how we're responding. So, but I think you're right. It's important that folks take a break, think about their mental health. And
I'm telling you, morale, it's key.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It definitely is.
It really
so
is.
there you go. Well, Jamie, good luck to you and the chamber
Thanks.
and all of our friends, and we look forward to being able
Thank
to
you.
hang out and have coffee together and do all those other things that the
Yeah.
chamber
Yeah.
is great
Focus
at
on
bringing
Farmington
us
Coffee.
I
together
know.
for
Well,
our
what Focus
commerce
on,
and
yes.
community.
What Focus on Farmington Coffee did this last time is I just asked you to post a picture of the mug
Yes.
you were drinking out of and send a message. And I think I'm going to do more of that. Just
Yeah.
try to do something to so people can connect in some
Yeah.
way. Because, we were pretty much network heavy.
Yes.
Networking events.
Yeah,
I
it was
know.
super
So now
fun.
I just don't know what
Yeah.
to do. I just sit in my house
A
and drink
big
my coffee all by
coffee
myself.
drinking Zoom.
I know.
How about that?
It's
Yeah.
Zoom happy hour.
There.
You
see?
organize it, Scott.
Jamie,
Technology
yeah, I
is not
just
my
volunteered
thing.
myself, didn't I?
You just send a link. I'll help.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I hate technology.
See,
But some
but
people
we can
love
do it. There you go. All right,
Cool.
we'll meet for coffee on Zoom, everybody.
Yeah.
How's
Love
that?
it. I love it.
Let
It's
you know.
fun. It's fun.
Perfect. Well, that's great. Well,
Thank
again,
you.
thank you for the work that you're doing. Your staff, I know, are
Yes.
also working from home, and so
Yes.
credit to them and kudos to all of them.
Well,
as
in our
well.
number, we're not in the office, so a number I'm asking, I just give my cell number on the machine at work. But if you have a story that you want to share about your business, send it to me at the chamber. My email is jamie@gofarmington.com, or you can contact me through our Facebook page. I want to hear these stories, and I want to know that true impact, and so that we have that to share as well as the data. And please be watching for the next survey so that we can get as many respondents as
Yeah.
possible.
No, we would love to
Compile
share
those
that too,
numbers.
because I think there are a lot of untold stories that
Yes.
are going on of
Yeah.
employees and business owners that are
Yeah.
banding together to the folks that are sewing the masks, the folks that are
Yes.
making the masks, the PPE, all the
Yeah.
other stuff that we're hearing about these
Yes.
businesses that are retooling to make these things that we need right now.
Right.
So lots of great stories around, I know.
Right, and I want to hear them, and we need to hear about those businesses that what's going on with them
Very good.
in the trenches.
Well, yes, exactly. Well, again, I know you'll be back,
Yep.
so that's
And
wonderful.
shout out to our healthcare workers. I didn't want to. Yeah, I'm all about the businesses
Yeah.
that come on. I love our healthcare workers. They're doing an amazing job. Our first responders, our police, our fire. I know they're under tremendous strain as well. So
Well, again,
we all
you're
know.
right. And as we see these numbers that we talked about that are increasing, they're the ones that are dealing with all these
Yes,
cases. And so we appreciate all of them. So that's
Yep.
that's for sure, because they're doing a lot of work and working a lot of hours. I'm sure many
right.
of them are. So that's good. Megan Cullip, I know
up?
we were going to have another caller call in today, but I haven't seen anyone calling in. So is that not happening?
That's mine. I thought that's tomorrow, Scott.
Is it tomorrow?
I believe.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, because Jamie's today. Okay.
Yep. But also,
Yeah.
like,
That's why Jamie's sitting
Well,
here.
I'm not the only one so
Yeah.
messed up.
You know,
Wait
I
a second.
apologize.
Time out. Yeah, Scott's messed up this morning.
Well,
wait. Are we gonna
that's
put the?
not
We
new.
can put the number up
we
because
could.
anybody can call in.
Yeah.
Anybody can get there. It is.
There it is.
Look at that, everybody. If you'd like to call and
Slow ticker. Hold on, it's getting there.
It is.
Call
coming.
in
Yes.
okay.
with
Oh my gosh.
a
Read along with Megan.
yeah. There you go.
Welcome to.
It's the read along with Megan hour. That's right.
People are asking questions on the Facebook
Good.
Live
What are
video.
they
That's why
saying?
we're seeing it. So thank you for that, everybody.
Okay.
But here comes the number: 505-566-3909.
Yeah,
It's
505-566-3909.
9. 390.9. Get it?
Oh my gosh! I do this every time where I'm like, oh, what? Why is it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Oh, my
Goodness.
goodness.
So it's coming.
Yeah,
I think.
it is. It's clever. So I won't
It's getting
forget
there,
that.
everybody. So if you would
Yeah.
like to call in and talk to us, tell us how you're doing, what you're doing, maybe for your
Yeah.
mental health.
Sure.
That would be great to share some of those ideas. I
Yeah.
think on the program, and someone is.
Look, it worked.
Wow,
They sensed our desperation.
your desperation. Good morning. You're on KSJE. We're glad you're here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. How are you doing? What would you like to talk about?
Good. Awesome. I just wanted to say that, everyone's talking about how depressing it is that we have to Skype, we have to Zoom. We can't go to church and be with everybody, but isn't this awesome that we've got the technology to still stay connected? I mean, woohoo to the IT people who have put these things together and allow us to still communicate, whether it be school or business or religious sessions. Isn't that cool?
I think that's a great point. You're right. And it's one of those things you look for the positive in some of these situations. You're exactly right.
And I'm just really grateful that the Farmington schools have invested all this time into the computers for the kids, because now the kids can still go to school and the teachers are in contact. It's awesome.
That laptop program has been great, I know, for a lot of families. You're right. So that's a great point. Thank you for reminding us of that.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's disappointing that everybody's going through struggles and different things, but it's, on the other hand, it's great we can still connect.
Very true. Do you have children in school?
Yes.
How many kids
And
are?
they're 2.
Okay, they're doing all right.
We're still in contact with them, and it's great because we get emails, we get notifications, and the school's been great.
Very good. Okay. Well, thank you for calling and sharing that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Stay well. Oh, you too. There you go.
That was good.
See?
I appreciate being called out when I'm too cynical. You know?
See?
That was good too, because
Yeah.
she reminded me of how often I get to FaceTime with my kids in Oklahoma and
nice,
that
yeah.
kind of thing.
That's
and
right.
So no, that I think, and that's such a good point. Whoever that caller was, it can be easy to fall into the
Sure.
doldrums.
Yeah.
Right.
But there are some really great positives out there. And technology, can you imagine if we didn't have it? She's absolutely right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a very, very good point. And I think we need to remember that a good combination of sharing the positive things is a good dose. Of
Indeed.
what
Is
we
anybody
need.
else getting caught in awkward freeze poses when they do streaming things?
Just you.
Yeah.
Just
it's
you.
classic. I'm always it's never the flattering
No.
It's also
pose.
the-
It's always like
It's always like the thumbnail on videos where your face, and then you can't get it to go off that. It's
That
like,
is
We've
that's-
learned.
one of our
that's-
favorite pastimes
Yes.
is deciding what
which thumbnail,
thumbnail
It
Facebook
usually-
will
yeah,
choose from
right,
this show.
Exactly, and it's never a good one. But yeah, I freeze a lot
Yeah.
in those
Yeah.
things, so
Your face is very expressive
it's true.
when
Yeah.
it's frozen.
It's true.
And
When
I don't know if
frozen.
it's the
and when it's not frozen.
well, I don't know if it's the expression you were intending when it's frozen, but that's what we get.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go, everybody. So thank you for calling. And phone line's still open if someone else would like to call in, but that's okay. We'll be back tomorrow.
We will be back tomorrow. What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, apparently the phone call I thought we were going to have today
Yes.
is tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow we will have Daniel Fear from Farmington Municipal Schools, who is the director of the creative arts programs, and he's going to talk about all the creative things that our educators are doing and all of the creative things that your kids can do while at home. So again,
Oh,
yeah,
great
I think
ideas
there's
for tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I
How
think
about
they're
that?
supplementing some of their regular lesson planning with some extra stuff to keep us all sane.
That's awesome.
It's always nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, and again, since I thought he was going to be on today, I think I have his picture to show. So he's going to be on tomorrow.
Okay.
So
Cool.
there,
Cool.
there he is.
There he is.
See?
Yeah, we're figuring it
Well,
out. I mean,
yeah,
we can't
we'll talk to you
remember-
tomorrow.
Right, Daniel. Hey, Daniel. We'll see
Thanks
you
for
tomorrow.
standing by.
Thanks for standing
That's
by.
right.
But I think
He's in the
really,
green
if you
room.
think about
Yeah.
how the schools,
He's in the green room.
if you think
That's
about how
good.
the schools had to just get this going and
All the
how
schools,
they
I
did,
know.
it's incredible. And
Right.
the resources, I homeschooled all my kids, and I'm looking at the resources that are out there now and what the schools are doing, and all the cool things like you can virtually visit that museum or do this or listen. I'm like, oh my gosh, they've done an amazing job of getting the information to the parents and equipping parents to do school with their kids very quickly. So it is definitely, I can't imagine having to try to pull that together, and they've really done an incredible
Right.
job. So
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Speaking of virtual museum tours and stuff, Dene College has a virtual Navajo art tour up right now.
Oh, neat.
That's pretty cool.
Oh,
There you
that's
go.
great.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
That
and
is
I
very
think those
cool.
being able to do all these neat things virtually, again, back to what the caller said, that's amazing technology.
Right.
Something that 30 years ago we would have all been like, we can do what? And here we are doing it, and people are adjusting, and kids are doing school and seeing their classmates. And,
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool.
That's very true. And we've been sharing on our Facebook page from Artifacts Gallery. They had their student art show
That
up
too,
from
yeah.
different students from different school districts, and of course that was right before all of this started happening. And
Yeah.
so they didn't have the reception they were planning to have, and they weren't able to maybe have the gallery open for as long as they wanted to be open to show all this artwork. So we're able to reshare because they took pictures of all that great student artwork. So
That's
we've been
great.
sharing that on our page as well for everybody.
Right.
I'm
Right.
gonna try to do a Facebook Live video this
Okay.
week.
Of what?
Okay.
Of what? Me?
Yeah.
Of Jamie. There you go. Of Jamie drinking coffee.
The survey and stuff like that. Facebook Live scares me because it's like,
live.
There's like one person listening, and then you go, but no, I've been trying to do videos and stuff like that, and so I might try it live.
You should.
I don't know.
You should.
We'll see. About this survey.
If not now, then when, Jamie?
That's right.
I'll try.
Yeah.
As we say, stay tuned, everybody.
Yes, stay
So
tuned.
there you
You
are.
never know.
I'm sure it'll be amazingly exciting.
That's right. It will be.
It will be. We're excited. I'll watch.
It's a Jamie Church production.
I could do a virtual tour of my house. 'Cause it's kind of like Meow Wolf in a way, and
Your house is very cool.
It's kind of like a museum.
Is it? Do it.
And so I could take people down, and I could do a virtual tour of my house, like a
There you go.
museum.
I'll start a watch party for that.
Okay, it's
See?
pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
There you go.
like it.
Well,
That
there you
would
go,
be
everybody.
fun.
All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap up the show before we
Yep.
get more tours of Jamie's house, but I look forward to that. I think it'd be great.
I think it'd be great. Yeah.
Because it's very cool. It's a cool house. So, and then Megan, you can do your house.
Nope, it's not cool. Your house sounds really cool. My
Oh.
house is not.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very,
Home tourist.
Oh.
no, it's great. I'm super, super glad to have it. But
okay.
it's just not cool.
Tour ready.
It's
Not tour ready?
It's not tour ready.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. Didn't want to put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. We can check out my parlor. Going back to that.
Yesterday. Oh, my goodness. All right. Thank you, Grandma.
Yep.
All righty. Thank you,
Thank you very
everybody,
much.
for joining us. Audience, thank you for your comments, and we appreciate it.
And your
Jamie, thank you for
patience.
staying
Yes,
and
absolutely.
putting up with whatever this is.
I think
Yeah.
I need to be here to just kind of keep, keep.
We need a referee or something. We really
we do need a referee.
No, seriously, thank you. I really am appreciative of the opportunity to share what the Chamber's doing and remind our members we're still here for them, even if we're not,
Right.
live and in person. We are still here, and we're doing all we can do for our
Very
Chamber
true.
members.
And I am
our
grateful
community.
that once a day, Monday through Thursday, we can get together in this platform on this radio station and on Facebook and on YouTube with all of you, and really have this time as a community to be together. So thank you very much for that.
Cool. So we'll see you tomorrow, listeners.
We will, dear listener. Oh wait,
Dear listeners.
but wait.
Oh,
we have
what?
a caller who's trying to get on at the very final
Good.
minutes of the show. So
Good.
should we try it?
Yeah,
should
I think
we go
so.
and
25th
say-
hour caller. Let's
Yep, at
do
the
it.
very last minute,
Yeah.
everybody. Hello. Good morning. You're on KSJE. You just made it in time. Who's this?
This is Les Leach. How are you doing this morning?
Hello, Les Leach. Speaking
Hi,
of Farmington
Les.
schools
Yes.
and music and arts and wonderfully ritired Les Leach. This is why you sound so happy.
Absolutely, yeah. It was nice to see that you're going to have Dan Fear.
Tomorrow, apparently.
The guy that
I
followed
definitely
me,
mentioned that.
He took my job.
Okay.
when I retired.
Yeah.
So, but the thing that I wanted to mention, I can't remember where I found it, somewhere online yesterday or on my phone. Their city of Farmington is trying to put together a virtual art walk, and I'm not
yes.
sure of the date. But when you were talking about what Artifacts is doing as far as the art display of the student work, the artists of our community are going to be doing a virtual art walk. I think each artist is encouraged to provide about 4 or 5 different works that they can put on the website.
Yes, Les. As a matter of fact, I'm remembering it starts the 17th of this month, so that's later on this week, as a matter of fact. So your timing is perfect. Yeah.
And I did share that on the Chamber website, or the Chamber Facebook page yesterday. I shared about the virtual art walk. So there's some, some of pictures, I think Karen Ellsbury with one of her pieces and some information about that. So thanks for the reminder on that, and I'll continue to share that on the Chamber site.
Thank you, Les.
Super.
We were
Great.
talking about that, and we're
Absolutely
maybe
good.
going to try to get a guest
Yeah.
from that on the show about talking about that. So
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Yeah. And Dan was sharing with me the other day that that Farmington has been selected as an outstanding community, and I'm not sure if that's. You ask Dan tomorrow.
all right, we'll ask him.
For the support of music education.
I'm not surprised.
I don't know if that's a national. Consideration, or
Okay.
if it's by state or what. But
We'll ask him. But if I forget, because you know how my brain's been working. If I forget, Les, you're welcome to
We've
call
seen
back
that this
in.
morning.
We have. I'm afraid we have. But you're welcome to call back in and ask him too. Thank you, Les.
Okay, all right. Thank you much. Bye.
All right, Les Leach calling in. Great to hear from him.
Yeah, always great to hear from Les.
Yeah. So wonderful. All right.
Cool.
I think now the phone lines are done. So,
but you still have time to call us tomorrow, listener.
You can, everybody. So you can write the phone number down, put us in your phone, and you can just hit one button dialing.
Yes. Yeah, that's the
just
better way.
Just call us right up.
Just remember the last one.
3909.
909, the last 3 digits. That should be easy to remember, theoretically.
Should be.
One of us in this room couldn't get it right.
That's okay.
That would be me.
All right.
Cool.
You were resting in your parlor. Jamie, thank you again for coming in. Megan, it's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, it is. And everybody, thank you for joining us for this light moment about this serious topic, and we're glad that you're here with us. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow. Stay well.
Thank you.